action here between the Rose-Hulman Fighting Engineers and the Blackburn Beavers. Alongside Troy Darengowski, I'm Zion Brown, live here from Hobart Arena on RHIT.TV. And as always, we would like to thank our IndianaSRN and RHIT TV title sponsors for the fall. Reynolds Farm Equipment, your local hometown John Deere dealer since 1955 with 5 central Indiana locations. Reynolds meets all your equipment, parts, and service needs. Boilermakers Local 374, representing skilled workers across Indiana. Discover the Boilermaker advantage with Local 374. Bertner Electric. Spark with confidence, your trusted electrical partner since 1986. Wheeler Mission, helping our neighbors in need since 1893. Thanks to generous, caring individuals like you. Morales Group Staffing, building better futures one story at a time. Let us help you find your next opportunity. LifeWise Academy. LifeWise Academy brings Bible education to public school students during school hours. Learn more at lifewise.org. Live Una, the Build American Union, 500 million strong, fighting for better wages, safer job sites, and greater opportunity. In the IndianaSRN sports page. Sports from border to border and coast to coast. Your source for high school and college sports coverage. Well, Troy, you've got a game that's starting a little later than we thought, about a 30-minute delay due to some transportation issues for Blackburn. But let's just get into it, starting on the home team, Rose-Hulman side. They're on a 4-game losing streak. They played 4 kind of tougher ranked opponents. How do you think they can try to reset, come back home here today, and get a win back in the win column?
Well, a lot of times when you lose, you have a tendency to perhaps second-guess yourself, but you got to remember they lost to 4 pretty good opponents over the last 4 matches, including the number 10 team in the country in Illinois Wesleyan, and they're undefeated at home. When you look at their early schedule, it wasn't as tough as it was in their last 4 games, so I'm sure they're anxious to get back here, get back on the winning side of things. You have about till October the 4th, and then conference play starts. You got some time to correct some things, but I think overall they're very pleased with what they've had to work with early in the season. Now, you got to remember, when you look at the 2 rosters here tonight, very young, 3 seniors on each team. And so when you bring in a lot of freshmen, and especially when you think about this team they're playing tonight, they have 12 freshmen that are probably going to get a chance to play tonight. So they've got a lot to figure out. And being late tonight probably didn't help either. Maybe some anxiousness to get off that bus and get going. So I would imagine, just from a standpoint who gets off to a better start, probably will win this one here tonight, but you got to think Rose-Hulman at home, as good as they are at 4-0, probably has the edge.
You talked about Rose-Hulman losing to Illinois Wesleyan. They played in the Illinois Wesleyan Classic this past weekend in Bloomington, Illinois. Went 0-3. Of course, Illinois Wesleyan was one of those teams. The other 2 defeats came to Coe and Wittenberg. And as we talked about, Rose-Hulman won its first 9 matches of the season, but has fallen in its last 4. Let's talk about maybe the effects of this delay, Troy. How do you feel like it will maybe impact this road team, Blackburn, that's coming in? They're kind of having a rush warm-up now and may have some effects from that.
Well, I'm sure it bothered them. Nobody wants to sit on the bus in traffic, wherever they were, waiting to get here, because as a player, you want to get in, get warmed up. Coaches love routine. Players love routine. And when that routine is messed up, you have a tendency maybe not to play as well. So they've got to find a way to regroup quickly. They're not going to get the same warm-up time. They got 30 minutes. Rose-Hulman was out here long before that, getting some extra work in. I will be curious to see just how the Beavers react in that first set. If they get off to a slow start, they've got some big hills to climb to get back in it. They cannot afford not to get off to a good start in that first set, so we'll have to wait and see how it affects them.
The Beavers came straight off the bus to warm up on this court. Do you feel like the delay will have any sort of impact on Rose-Hulman? They were just sitting around for a little longer than they were expecting to?
Nah, they're at home. I'm sure they love the extra work. Coaches, when you think about coaching, you don't mind the extra work because you know there's some things you want to work on, and it just gave them some extra time. So I think that really does benefit Rose-Hulman. Plus, hey, you're at home. You had a chance to stay maybe home a little bit longer. You're in comfortable surroundings. You're going to have a home court advantage. All of that plays in their favor.
So Blackburn coming from Carlinville, Illinois, which is over 150 miles away, about a 3-hour drive from Terre Haute. But they have made it here, and they will be ready to play against Rose-Hulman in just a moment here. We're going to take it to a quick break and come back with more analysis here on RHIT.TV.
A good engineer, a good mathematician, a good scientist can identify problems.
But in order to be a great scientist or engineer, you've got to have curiosity and you've got to have creativity, and that's what's going to set you apart.
You can't teach curiosity. You just need to encourage your student to be curious. Curious in anything that they do. Curious so that it brings out the innovations, the new ideas.
Anxious over algebra? Call Ask Rose, the free science and math homework helpline. It's free world-class tutoring. Just call, chat, email, or screen share. Learn more at AskRose.org. Confused by chemistry? Call Ask Rose, the free science and math homework helpline. It's free world-class tutoring. Just call, chat, email, or screen share. Learn more at AskRose.org.
Back here at Holbert Arena, where we'll have Rose-Hulman versus Blackburn in just a moment. In that first segment, Troy, we talked about how this Rose-Hulman team has about a week or so before they get into HCAC play for good. Just what does it look like? What do you want it to look like out there as a coach when you know the conference play is right around the corner, the most important part of your season is upcoming?
Well, when I coached basketball a long time ago, the one thing I always wanted to make sure that I was better the next game than it was the last game. And coaches are never satisfied. I don't care what they tell you. They could play the most perfect game because you don't want your team to think they played a perfect game. So you're going to find something. So what I'm going to look for again tonight is improvement from my last game. I know I played 4 very good opponents and lost all 4 of them. I only won 1 set in those 4 games, so that might be a little bit of a concern. So I've got to cut down on mistakes, and that, especially mental mistakes. I was watching a couple of players there for Rose-Hulman serving, and many times they were hitting the ball in the net, and I really feel that from a serving standpoint, that's all mental. It's kind of like shooting free throws.
Right.
I mean, you can be a bad free throw shooter, but a good free throw shooter is getting that mental block, and sometimes it doesn't seem like it falls when you thought it would, and all of a sudden nothing happens right. So I think one thing, whatever those areas are, and I don't know what the coach had done in the 4 games that they lost that they needed to work on. We don't have that information privy to us, but I would imagine to be anything that is the weakness, they will work on tonight as much as they can, because again, you got to be ready within a couple of weeks now, and conference play is right around the corner.
How do you turn things around mentally? We talked about how they have lost 4 straight matches, but they're 2 good teams. How as a coach you kind of contextualize that amongst your players and say, hey, we might not have a stretch like that against a difficult opponent like that going forward? How do you make sure they can get back on the right track from that?
Well, mentally, that's not always an easy thing to do. Some players responded really well, others do not. And so you challenge them, you get back into film sessions, you go and talk to them about the things they need to work on, and you would hope the players respond to that very well. And I would imagine both these teams have gone through that film session and said, here's what we need to do. And as a player, you take that as a challenge. You don't take it as a criticism. You take it as a challenge, as a player, as an athlete, representing your school, and then you come out and you say, I'm going to work on that. And you do the extra things during the warm-ups, you do the extra things during practice to make sure you're a better player.
So we'll get to see how the Fighting Engineers respond in just a moment, trying to snap that 4-game losing streak. Back here at home, we'll take one last break, then have the start of this match for you here on RHIT.TV.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
A good engineer, a good mathematician, a good scientist can identify problems.
But in order to be a great scientist or engineer, you've got to have curiosity and you've got to have creativity, and that's what's going to set you apart.
You can't teach curiosity. You just need to encourage your student to be curious. Curious in anything that they do. Curious so that it brings out the innovations, the new ideas.
575 of them from 40 states and 19 countries, with a record-breaking number of applications. Did you forget about Rose's outstanding class of 2023 and how 99% of the graduates have landed a position in their dream fields, graduate school, or the military?
The renovations to Munch Hall are finally complete, so I'm sure he'll have plenty to eat at the updated Munch Cafe by the new living mall.
We just broke ground on a new residence hall that will be ready for fall 2025.
We celebrated a record-breaking homecoming with more than 2,000 alumni, students, and friends commemorating the 100th anniversary of the bonfire with our first ever drone show. We also welcomed 267 employers for our fall career fair. And perhaps the greatest gift of all, the Wall Street Journal named us to one of the top 20 best colleges in America, and U.S. News & World Report named us the #1 undergraduate engineering college. You can be a little old for a lot of things, but you're never too old or too far away for Rose-Hulman. 2023 was a year of adventurous journeys, of coming together, of growth. No matter how far away you roam this holiday season, you will never be truly alone as long as Rose is your home.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Back here at Rose-Hulman, where Blackburn and Rose-Hulman are set to face off here in just a moment. Troy, what are your keys to this game?
Well, we're going to look first off, like you said earlier, how will Blackburn feel coming in, knowing that they didn't get the normal routine, and how will that affect them here tonight? I think you're going to get a good idea of that early in this first set. Always talk about communication in any sport, but in volleyball, you got to communicate, and we'll see it several times throughout the entire volleyball high school or college season where players have a tendency not to communicate. That'll be big here tonight. Mix up your attack. And this goes for both these teams tonight. You got to mix it up, keep the other team off balance throughout the entire evening. Be effective in your rotation too. Know exactly where you're going to be each and every time on the floor. Now go back to the mental side of things. Mentality in any sport is big. We know the physical side of things, but if things aren't going well, you got to mentally find a way to get back to where the game plan was. Coaches only have a couple of timeouts to work with per set, so it isn't like you can stop every time. So I think mentally it'll be big here again tonight. And I think bottom line is, if Rose-Hulman can set the tone early in this one, I think they have a chance to sweep this one here tonight, simply because of the factors that are going against Blackburn coming in, being late, and as young as they are.
Absolutely. Rose-Hulman is coached by Rachel Delsey, who is in her 8th year with the Fighting Engineers, 4 wins away from reaching the 100 mark as the head coach at Rose-Hulman. Blackburn is led by Shannon Bishop in year 2 as the head coach of the Beavers. And this Rose-Hulman team, first game back here in Hobart Arena in 2 weeks, looking to get back in the win column.
Yeah, it's always nice to be back home when you have familiar surroundings and just the comfort level. I'll be curious. Again, you talked about it earlier. How's this Blackburn team going to react knowing that they were late, only got the 30 minutes, and even then, Zion, they ended up spilling the water down there on the floor, and it went everywhere, so it's been one of those nights.
It has already been one of those nights before the match has even began for Blackburn. You mentioned it. They got in here. They were setting everything up on their bench, and water cooler just tipped over and was all over the floor. Took about 5 to 7 towels, I would say, to finally clear that mess up. But we'll see how Blackburn is able to respond and what they look like in this first set.
You know, the one thing you notice, neither team has a ton of size. We're not talking about players that are 6'3", 6'2", in that range. There are some 6-footers, maybe if you're stretching it to 6'1". So a lot of the play tonight will be around the top of the net and below. So we're talking about a fundamental type game on each side of the net.
Rose-Hulman will start serving with Julia Ehrman. We're underway. Blackburn on the attack here with Ella Person. She has that blocked at the net that time. Amaya Harrell and Aurora Schmidt for Rose-Hulman with the block.
Yeah, excellent job. That double block in the middle, and that's going to be a big key. Talking about long arms, and if Blackburn's going to score from the middle, they're going to have to find a way to get over those arms.
There's Ehrman with another serve. As they set it up this time, it's gotten over the net, and a point for Zoe Mitchell.
Yeah, excellent job. Really finding that spot toward the back left side there against Rose-Hulman. Nice way for the Beavers to come back, get that point.
So we're tied at a point apiece here in this opening set. Serving here is Kendall Yates. That one blocked at the net by Kennedy Fry.
That was great effort, though, and unfortunately can't keep it between the lines, which is going to be really big tonight. If you're going to get that block, want to try to get the point out of it. We may see this set go back and forth here for a while until one team finally gets that advantage.
So Fry couldn't keep it in play. Here's Ellie Harshany to serve, and she was not able to keep that in, and it's tied at 2.
You know, one thing I don't like about service errors, it feels like a turnover to me in any other sport. Right. Let's say basketball. You give the other team the ball back, and they get a freebie out of this one. So let's see who's going to end up winning this at the end of the night.
Jesse Wright set the serve here for Blackburn. Dug out, and it's spiked over the net that time by Harrell.
Well, 5'8", a senior. She's been around a long time. Loves that short set to the middle, and if you give her a good set like we saw there, she's almost unstoppable.
She's their best attacker. 342 is her hitting percentage so far this season.
Yeah, that's incredible. You got those kind of numbers, that's all conference type stuff right there.
That one not able to get over the net from Moglin, and it's another Rose-Hulman point.
Yeah, I think it was just a mistimed jump right there inside the 10-foot line. I don't know if that's where she wanted to set or not, but you could tell it was a misplay.
And that serve goes out of play behind the back line for another service error.
All right, there's 2. I'm going to keep track. I don't keep many stats, but I do keep service errors because I think that's a big key.
Holman setting up the attack, and it's going to be a kill for Kira Osi.
Well, now we've seen 2 short set middle attacks right there, and they both have been successful. If it continues that way, I would imagine Rose-Hulman's going to go to that well many more times.
Aurora Schmidt to serve. It's dug out, and they just get it on an overpass. And now they set up the attack. Blocked at the net, still in play for Rose-Hulman. That one deflected at the net, and now Blackburn will return it. They're setting up the attack for Blanton. Emma Blanton gets that across. And now here's Moglin. Back and forth we go. Wonderful volley. Who will come on top? Blanton gets another one across for Rose-Hulman. And then there's Moglin yet again for Blackburn. Blanton this time has that deflected off of the blockers. And it is a point. The
longest volley of the night. It was pretty. You saw really good defense on both sides. Eventually set up one by Rose. Excellent job both ways.
Now Schmidt will serve for the Fighting Engineers. And that is going to be an ace for Aurora Schmidt. She's the best on this Rose-Hulman team at doing so. That's her 31st ace of the year.
Yeah, I'll hate to see that. For the Beavers, bottom line is, got to play that, either step up or step back on it and make contact so you can get an attack going.
That one sent right back over by Blackburn. As Rose-Hulman sets it up for Blanton, that's deflected by Black. And now coming on the other end is Ward. Here's Blanton again, and she cannot get that one over the net, trying to evade the blockers that time, but it'll be a point for the Beavers.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the set that time either, just mistimed the jump.
Rose-Hulman ahead 7-4 in this opening set. As Kennedy Fry serves, and it'll just get across above the blockers on the attack by Kira Osi.
You know, sometimes we think about volleyball that you got to really get a great swing and a hard strike on it, when really a lot of times that vision is right there, and she saw that open area.
Emma Blanton now to to serve for Rose-Hulman. Blackburn sets up the attack. Rose-Hulman comes down the other way with Carlson. They'll set it up now for Emma Blanton on that back line, and Blanton comes away with the kill. Well, Reynolds Farming Equipment is a leading equipment dealer serving farmers, homeowners, landscapers, and commercial contractors throughout Indiana. Nothing runs like a deer. Give us a call today at 317-849-0810. Blanton to serve again, and she'll be in that back line. Blanton trying to keep that one in play, unable to do so. So it goes back to Blackburn.
Blanton, one of those first-year players on a preseason watch list here in the HCAC. Played at Hamilton Heights in her high school career, and you can tell she's going to be special when it's all said and done.
Peyton Moglin serving for Blackburn. Here's Carlson with the kill. Ferocious spike by Greta Carlson, another one of those freshmen.
And another one of those that she couldn't walk down there and placed it any better than she did. Excellent strike.
10-5, Rose-Hulman in this first set. That one just has to get volleyed across and heads out of play, so Rose-Hulman with another point.
Well, now we're starting to see that separation. We were wondering who's going to get out in the lead first. You've got 6 here, and you're going to try to build on it, see how the Beavers are going to respond.
This feels like an important few sets for the Beavers as the attack that time by Black is blocked. On the other side, however, the attack is money from Rhiann Ward.
Ellen Ward is one of those players that last year, a very standout player, 69 kills coming in. I know the hitting percentage isn't quite as high, but she's a go-to type player.
Alexis Fry serves. And right back is Harrell, but Blackburn keeps it alive, and sending it over is Fry. We'll try with Harrell again, and this time she gets it down.
Harrell left, Harrell right, and Harrell in the middle. I would give her a steady diet here tonight because she is by far the best athlete on the floor.
Rose-Hulman has doubled up Blackburn 12-6 here at Beatty Insurance. They're a company that understands their industry and what's on the line for you. Call Lance at 812-522-5640. As Blackburn tried to set it up again for Ward, but it got blocked at the net. Ward again. Harrell had it. Now they're swinging over to Carlson, and it's dug out by Kennedy Fry. Rhiann Ward again trying to get one down, and she will. As the velocity wasn't there on the spike attempt from Ward, but she put it in a place that was hard for Rose-Hulman to send it back over the net.
Yeah, it's big for Ward and the Beavers, mainly because they had a couple of plays there. The set was not where they needed it to be, so that's a big point right there for Blackburn.
Kendall Yates will serve for Blackburn, and that attempt is out of play from Aurora Schmidt.
Well, here's a chance now for Blackburn. You've taken advantage of a couple of mistakes. You're hoping now to keep that momentum rolling.
We'll set it up for Harrell, and she gets that to drop in play. Harrell having a wonderful first set here, and she gets a point back for the Fighting Engineers.
So that's back to vision, too. She saw there was an opening potentially in that back right corner and played it perfectly because all the Beavers are kind of back on their heels waiting for her to get a big-time strike.
3 kills in this set already for Amaya Harrell as it's an overpass for Blackburn. And now it's on to the Rose-Hulman side, setting it up for Emma Blanton, who gets one down.
Wow. Just inside the line again. That comes back down to great court vision. Excellent job on the cross-court attack, and after you gave up a couple of points, you see Rose-Hulman coming right back with 2 of their own. That's really good.
The touch has been outstanding for the Fighting Engineers so far in this one. As Blackburn sets up the attack. Now Rose-Hulman will set it up for Blanton. Rejected at the net. Now they'll go for Mitchell. And Rose-Hulman has it again. That one is blocked up top by Ella Person for the Blackburn. It wasn't a Blackburn point because it went out, so it'll still be a Rose-Hulman point and their serve.
Yeah, Blackburn's going to have to go somewhere else. They've gone to the right, to the right, to the right. They're going to have to find another way to attack.
Blocked by Harrell. Blackburn trying to keep it alive. They cannot.
Wow.
And a timeout will be taken here by Blackburn. They trail by 8 here in the first set on RHIT.TV.
Finding the right answer and trying again, that's really what dragged me to aerospace. I saw other people making amazing stuff on 3D printers, and I thought if I combine that art of 3D printing with engineering, I could make something as complex as an airplane. It all changed when I came to Rose-Hulman. I feel amazing that I have still 3 years to do something much more complex.
Hello and welcome to Game Day. My name is Keith Myers. I'm the Vice President of IndianaSRN. We're glad that you joined us today. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN. This means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Back here at Holbrook Arena, we're in the first set. Rose-Hulman has a 16-8 advantage over Blackburn and Troy. The story so far in this one has been the senior Amaya Harrell.
Oh, man. I mean, just bottom line is her athleticism showing, her ability to get a touch shot, her ability to go out and swing big. She has been the difference so far.
Harrell in her second year with the Fighting Engineers after starting her college career at South Dakota School of Mines. Rose-Hulman sets up the attack for Schmidt. Now back the other direction. Here's Person. Rose-Hulman keeping it alive. Now Blanton will try for the attack. She's rejected. Rose-Hulman keeps it in play. Here's Harrell off the deflection, and she'll have herself her 4th kill of the night.
You know, if they keep feeding her, she could have 25 kills by the end of the night. That's just how well she's playing right now. Now, I know she's kind of favoring that shoulder a little bit. Hopefully didn't strain it too much on that last kill, but got to keep her in the lineup.
That'll be something to monitor. Person gets it across for Blackburn. Here's Blanton on the attack. That one goes behind the back line, out of bounds.
I would love to see Blanton come deep in the corner left side as we're facing Rose-Hulman. Instead of trying to go back toward the middle, she probably would have had better success going to our left.
Blackburn trying to work their way back into this opening set, and that will not help.
No, it doesn't. But by the way, that's only their first of the night so far. Both teams have actually served very well.
Boilermakers Local 374 represents highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication across Indiana. Whether it's a new build, upgrade, or facility maintenance, you can count on Local 374 to get the job done the right time, the first time. Here's Blackburn on the attack and the kill for Kennedy Fry.
I don't think the set was exactly where she wanted it, but she placed it exactly where she needed to as Rose-Hulman had a difficult time rotating back on that back edge.
Fry and her younger sister Alexis Fry are Vincennes natives, back playing in their home state. Set up the attack for Moglin, but that goes out of play, back to Rose-Hulman.
Well, you're down to the point now, we're almost in the red zone. You get one more, you got a 10-point lead, you got 5, you race to the 25. So right now, Blackburn is in a situation where they have to play mistake-free the rest of this set.
They set it up for Moglin. Rose-Hulman the other way with Blanton on the attack, and she'll get that one. Perez tried to dig it out, but couldn't get the dig up into the air. Rose-Hulman point.
And that's what we talked about. She came this way. She didn't go that way. When you talk about going to the end line, she came to the sideline, and she had the success we talked about moments ago.
Schmidt remains the server, and that'll be an ace for Schmidt as she kind of caught Blackburn asleep and just put that ball where nobody was.
Yeah, one of those that just died when it got over the net. Didn't have to touch the net, but it had good topspin and enabled it to go quickly to the floor.
Second ace tonight for Aurora Schmidt. This one is played awkwardly by Blackburn. They'll get it across with no real attack. Blanton now on the attack, and Blanton has another kill.
Players on the outside love those sets when they're right at the point, at the top of the net, and that was about as pretty as you could get there from the Fighting Engineers.
3 points away from winning this first set. Schmidt almost got another one down in the middle of the Blackburn side, but Blanton will now try on the attack, and Blanton will have another kill, her 6th.
Well, I'll tell you what, nice compliment when you think about Blanton and Harrell, because Harrell's on the bench right now. Blanton has stepped up big time.
And Blanton has been the go-to right now, and it's worked out well for the Fighting Engineers. On the attack, here's Moglin. Deflected at the net. Moglin gets it back over, and she will get it over safely as it was hit out of play by Julia Ehrman.
Rare receiving error that time by Rose-Hulman in this first set, but it's still, you have a 12-point comfortable lead at this point. Now you just want to finish it off as quick as you can.
As it's an overpass, and it gets through. Beautiful job by Kira Osi catching that Blackburn defense off guard.
Well, Osi did the right thing. Again, you know at some point you're going to be able to pull that quick hit off, and she did it right there. And on Blackburn, you got to be ready for that. It happens so often. If you're not really focused, it could happen.
Moglin on the attack, blocked up top by Carlson. And Rose-Hulman has taken the first set, 25-11 here over Blackburn. So one first set goes to Rose-Hulman, looking to get the next two and close this one out here on RHIT.TV. Back at Rose-Hulman, where the Fighting Engineers won set one, 25-11 over Blackburn, alongside Troy Darengowski. I'm Zion Brown here in Hobart Arena, and that was really clinical from Rose-Hulman in that first set, Troy.
Well, I'll tell you what, they came out and I think just simply dominated. And you talk about the play of Harrell and Blanton on the outside, and not just that, what Harrell was able to do across that front row was just incredible. But now you're curious, I talked about the mental side of it. How will Blackburn come out and respond here in the second set? Sometimes when you get beat that bad in the first set, you're kind of second guessing yourself. Are we going to be able to pull this off here in set number two? So they're going to have to regroup very quickly. If I'm on the other side, Rose-Hulman, just keep doing what you're doing. Go back to the big guns. I thought the rotation was very well defensively. They didn't give up very many mistakes on the receiving end. Just go back and attack and try to go up 2-0.
This Blackburn team came into today 5-7. They started conference play already. They're 1-1 in the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. They started their conference play on Saturday. They got a win against Webster, and this was all at Webster, and then they lost in 5 sets to Mississippi University for women. And now they are here at Rose-Hulman. For more than 2 decades, the seasoned professionals at Piper Logistics have been trusted partners for inventory management, warehousing, fulfillment, and transportation. Ride with us. Call today at 317-396-1023. After that pretty lopsided first set. Rose-Hulman will look to kind of echo that and repeat that in set 2.
Yeah, and the one thing you don't want to do when you're at home, don't let that other team breathe. So I'm going to come out and I'm going to go after them as hard as I can. I want to build a big lead here in the second set. I want to give them no opportunity to think they have a chance to win this or even take it to 4. I want them to know we mean business. So I'm going to try to get a big lead and put them away early if I can. Because, again, it's a mental thing. A lot of times you get the big lead, and the next thing you know, you've got the other team down, and then you step on the gas and put them away.
Let's see if Rose-Hulman can keep it up from a mental standpoint and snap their 4-match losing streak. Some substitutions happening down there on the court. Choose Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for print, signs, promo products, apparel, and mailing services. Serving Indianapolis for over 50 years, Dynamark builds strong relationships through exceptional service. Call today at 317-328-2555. I think everything has been settled now, and Blackburn is ready to serve to begin this second set. It'll be Alexis Fry. That one sent straight back over by Rose-Hulman. Now they'll set up the attack with Schmidt. And now on the other end, Blackburn is able to get that one through from Rianne Ward.
Yeah, great start, Ward. One of the players we talked about early. Kind of a catalyst for this team as they attack back on that right side. Let's see if they'll try to go back there again, because I think Rose kind of figured it out in the first set. That was where they were going to attack most.
Schmidt gets it over for Rose-Hulman. Now on the other end, it's Person. And that's a kill for Greta Carlson.
Carlson, just a freshman, but she's a 6-footer. One of the many freshmen that get a chance to come in and make a contribution. Yeah, think about if you had Carlson to Blanton and Harrell, that is a 3-headed monster that a lot of teams aren't going to like to see this year in the HCAC.
Carlson hailing all the way from Austin, Texas, attending college here in Terre Haute. Miscommunication for Rose-Hulman. They're just able to get it across the net. Now on the other side, it's Person. Rose-Hulman keeps it alive. And it is sent back over, but that'll be out of play for a Blackburn point.
Well, we've seen now 2 instances where Rose-Hulman has not played it as well as what we saw in the first set. So now it's back to get yourself refocused here. I know you won that first set pretty easily, 25-11, but don't let this one get away. Get back and get to playing good volleyball.
Harrell picking up where she left off in the first set.
And that helps.
Maya Harrell now with 6 kills today on 7 attacks.
Well, one thing about it is you love a player that you know is going to deliver for you, and that's what she has done here today, and you feel comfortable. You can go right back to her when you need her.
That serve falls short of the net, so it'll be a service error back to Blackburn.
Well, it's only 3. They're -2 in that category, but has not affected this match so far. So really, at this stage, no big deal.
2, the second one for Lily Ebright today. And there's another kill for Rose-Hulman. This time, it's Kira Osi.
Well, Osi, another 6-footer. They have 3 6-footers on their roster, and so far we've seen 2 out of the 3 make a contribution. Just a great set, and that short set in the middle can be so effective.
Knotted up at 3 apiece early in this second set. And make it 4-3. That's going to be a kill for Fry.
Well, it's a tough call on the Rose-Hulman defensive side because bottom line is you didn't have anybody deep enough they were going to get to it anyway. So you're just kind of hoping it would have gone out at that stage.
Rose-Hulman on the attack, and it is Osi again. Her second kill of this frame.
I love the short set in the middle because bottom line is you can get up high in the air and get a great swing with a lot of power behind it, and it has been a huge key tonight for Rose-Hulman.
Blanton serving. Moglin rejects it at the net. She'll try it again. Moglin again has that one deflected, but Rose-Hulman keeps it alive, and Ebright will send it over. Long volley here. Greta Carlson gets that across the net, and then is blocked at the net. Carlson was there, and so was Osi for the block.
Yeah, long arms. Two players can really get up there, and you love it when you can win that joust at the net. Great job for Rose-Hulman.
Rose-Hulman back on top, 5-4 in this second frame. That ball rejected at the net. Moglin gets it back yet again. They'll set it up for Greta Carlson. Has that deflected. And Blackburn trying to get it over. Blocked at the net by Osi. Now here's Rose-Hulman on the attack again. And that is another point for Osi here in this second set.
Great set. You get that back set, the runner. Got a lot of momentum going on the right side. Great offensive play. You know, one play we don't talk enough about is Lily Ebright. She's another one of those seniors, and she's so good as a defensive specialist, but she plays very well in this rotation.
Ebright, a three-time HCAC Defensive Player of the Year, as that's a block for Kennedy Fry.
That's a big block there for Fry. As you mentioned, they got to stay close in this one. This is about where we were in the first set before Rose-Hulman started to make their move. Let's see if Rose-Hulman can now start to put a little distance between them and Blackburn.
That's an excellent point, Troy. Carlson gets that across for Rose-Hulman. They set it up on the other side for Blackburn with Moglin, but that one does not get over the net, so it's a point for Rose-Hulman. Well, at Riskwork, we make people feel safe. Riskwork protects your business. You live safe, and they've got it covered. Call Riskwork today at 317-379-6755. 2-point lead here in the second set for Rose-Hulman. They already have won the first set. They set up the attack for Amaya Harrell, freshly back into the match, and she gets a kill right back.
Yeah, it's amazing that if you give her the short set in the middle, just how good she is. I mean, again, we talked about her athleticism. She's not really tall. That when you think about 5'8", she plays about 6'4", though.
Harrell has an excellent vertical that time. He tried to come away with the block, but instead it'll be a Blackburn point.
It looked like Ward there in the middle that time for Blackburn. Kind of returning the favor, you might say, because they attacked back in the middle like what you saw Rose-Hulman a couple of moments ago. They're hanging in there. Give Blackburn credit. They got beat badly in the first set, but they're hanging in there in set number 2.
Peyton Moglin to serve for Blackburn. Almost had an ace, but Rose-Hulman was able to return it. And so send this one over with Emma Blanton. That's blocked by Osi. Harrell gets it over. Now Blackburn sends it across the net. Overpass that time by Ehrman. Attack attempt from Black. It's a long volley here. Here's Osi, gets it across for Rose-Hulman, but Blackburn returns it. Osi again, deflected at the net. And coming down the other direction is Person. Again, deflected at the net. Who will come on top of this volley? It will be Rose-Hulman, as that stays in play off the tap from Amaya Harrell.
Might be the second best volley we've seen back and forth all night long. And you know, one thing, if both teams work so hard, you hate to see a team give up a point like that because you saw so much good play right there. But fortunately for the Fighting Engineers, able to get another point thanks to Harrell.
See if the Fighting Engineers can pull away, but that will not do them any favors going out of play on the service error.
Again, number 4, still have a 2-point lead. You're -3 in that category, but until you see Blackburn take advantage of it, at this stage doesn't matter too much.
That ball just deflects off the net and onto the Rose-Hulman side for a service ace off of Alexa Fry's right palm.
Clippers are hard to play. You just never know when they hit that net where they're going to go. Fry
with another serve and another ace.
Well, communication, back row. You had one player thinking they were going to go for it. When you had a player there on that back line that probably should have played that one, so you got to communicate much better.
Fry has the first 2 aces of the night for Blackburn, and we're tied at 9 in this second set. Coming on the other direction, Ward with the tap, Harrell on the attack for Rose-Hulman. Rianne Ward again for Blackburn, deflected by Harrell, and on the other side, it's Aurora Schmidt. Again, it's Rianne Ward, but she cannot get that one over the net. It's a point for the Fighting Engineers.
Good job again by Harrell. Not only did she make that play there, but she also kept the ball alive a couple of times. You thought maybe no one was going to get to it.
Rose-Hulman on top by a point again in this second set, already ahead 1-0. Here's Greta Carlson. Excuse me, that's Ella Person for Blackburn. As Maya Harrell tries to go for another kill, but Blackburn keeps it alive. Person blocked at the net. And Rose-Hulman sets it up now for Blanton. Blanton with a soft tap gets it through for a point.
You know, sometimes you just are lucky. And that time they found that hole. A lot of the Blackburn players were expecting maybe a harder hit than it was, and unfortunately they were back on their heels. Rose-Hulman able to get the big point.
This serve is going to be an ace out of that back line by Ellie Harshani. Well, at LIUNA, we're the Build American Union, 500,000 strong, fighting for better wages and benefits, safer job sites, and greater opportunities. We are LIUNA.
You look at that last play by Blackburn, it was an indecision. You got to make your mind up very quickly on that serve.
Ward gets it over the net, and she will get that past the Engineers' defense.
Well, you know, they played much better. I mean, they got 10 points now here in the second set. They were at 11 in the entire first set. So Blackburn has made a lot of good adjustments and are playing much better in set 2.
Rianne Ward leads Blackburn with 4 kills tonight. Schmidt has it blocked momentarily, but it stays on the Blackburn side for a Rose-Hulman point.
Well, you kind of get the feeling at some point the Fighting Engineers are going to get a little run going here. They haven't had the same success that they had in the first set when Harrell and Carlson and Blant were playing as well as they were. So let's see if they can get this thing rolling.
Rose-Hulman on the attack this time with Osi, and she gets it across.
Well, they've had success. Every time they've run that back set and that slide to the right, they've scored a point.
Timeout Blackburn, 14-10 lead in this second set for Rose-Hulman. They're looking to go out 2-0. We'll see if the Beavers can respond in just a moment here on RHI.TV.
So my goal is to get involved in space industry and learn about what lies beyond the Earth's horizon. I came across Rose Rocketry. I saw, hey, they're doing some really cool stuff. They're building rockets. Being at Rose, I was able to hone my engineering skills to push myself to get involved in the field further and learn about all these different opportunities. And I don't think I would have really gotten that at a bigger university.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt.
Insulting referees.
Threatening officials.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes.
Violent language in the stands.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot. It's not a game.
Here in the middle of the second set, Rose-Hulman already leading 1-0, and they have a 4-point advantage over Blackburn. In set number 2, as Lily Ebright is set to serve for Rose-Hulman. They look to close out this set. Blackburn gets it back over with Zoe Mitchell as Blanton sends it across for Rose-Hulman. Now on the opposite side, it's Person. And they're setting up the attack with Blanton, and Blanton's gonna have a kill.
You know, that's one of those that if you're not careful on the other side of the net, you'll end up with Wilson on your forehead because that was hit so hard. And it's hard to defend that. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, that was a very vicious spike from Emma Blanton. And Rose-Hulman has its largest lead of this set, but on the overpass, Fry is able to get a point back for Blackburn.
Yeah, generally Ebright's going to get something like that, but she's been all over the floor. In fact, she had a great tournament. One of the notable players in the HCAC defensively this past week. But very rare you see a little campfire open there for Rose-Hulman.
Set up another attack for Blanton. This time it's dug out on the Blackburn side as they'll try to attack with Brooke Cawthon, but it'll be out of play and a point for Rose-Hulman.
Yeah, just an attack error that time by the Beavers on the left side. You look for a certain set, timing isn't quite right, your jump isn't quite right, so you give up an attack point there.
Schmidt to serve. Cawthon again. This time it's recovered by Rose-Hulman. Here's Blanton with the soft touch. Blanton puts it in no man's land for another Fighting Engineers point.
I only laugh because you knew Blanton saw that. I mean, you and I saw it from up here, and I bet her eyes were just as big as you could get because that corner was wide open.
It's her 9th kill of the night, leading Rose-Hulman. Another overpass is done successfully by Kennedy Fry. She's done that twice now.
Well, and now Rose-Hulman needs to make sure that if they see that again, you better cover up that middle because you don't want to give that up many more times, especially if this thing gets close later here in the set.
Zoe Mitchell serving. Rose-Hulman sets up the attack with Osi. Now it's Cawthon for Blackburn, dug out by Ebright. Over to Blanton. Deflected at the net. Another overpass, and Rose-Hulman was ready for it this time. Here's Blanton again. Deflected at the net. Cawthon dug out by Ebright as Rose-Hulman is keeping this alive. Blanton blocked at the net, but it's sent back over as Rose-Hulman trying to keep it alive, and it's going to be a net violation on Blackburn. So what a fight. Rose-Hulman felt like it was on its heels that whole point, but they come away with it.
I know Blackburn's coach wasn't happy with that at all because she thought that it perhaps was hit on the forearm there, but bottom line is that was our first one. You could kind of tell when you saw it that it was going to be a net violation, but again, great defense that time by Rose-Hulman.
Now Emma Blanton will serve as Blackburn able to get the kill on the attack that time with Riley Black. Well, at Officially Human, the mission is to restore respect for game officials and recognize them as authorities on the field and court. Do your part and practice good sportsmanship. No officials, no game. Blackburn trying to extend this second set, but that'll be a kill on the left side for Carlson.
Just steady now for Rose-Hulman. That's all they've done. They didn't dominate this one, perhaps at least at this stage, like they did the first set, but they're just steady now. And now, when you bring back Harrell, I have a feeling she may get fed a little more.
Harrell that time is deflecting it at the net, but on the second attempt, Riley Black was able to get it down.
Yeah, good vision, court vision, no different than any other sport. Once you see that opening and that team that you're playing against doesn't rotate quick enough, you're going to find that opening.
Peyton Moglin will now serve for the Beavers. Dug out by Blanton on that back line, over to the left side with Carlson. Back to Moglin as they set up the attack with Person. Harrell with an underhand attack, and now Blanton falls short of the net.
We use the word discombobulated in a play like that. It wasn't set up well. I know that Harrell would have loved to have had a short set closer to the net, but it just did not materialize, and that's something they'll have to clean up.
Blackburn just staying around in this second set, trying to tie this at a set apiece. Here's Ward sending this one toward the Rose-Hulman sideline, and they're able to keep it alive. Now on the other side, Person has it blocked by Harrell and Julia Ehrman as another great volley won by the Fighting Engineers.
That's why you never give up on a play close to the bench. You go after it. You sacrifice yourself to make sure you keep that ball in play, because you come back, you get a big point, and now you're in the red zone.
20-15 lead in the second set now for Rose-Hulman. That one is sent back over immediately as they set up Blanton on the attack. And again, Blanton from that back row can't get the ball past the net.
You know, a lot of times players think that maybe they can get a good swing, get something top spin on the ball. I would rather just see you return it and try to make the opposing team make a mistake.
Harrell, great spike by Herb. Blackburn keeps it alive. They'll set up Harrell again. This time Blackburn cannot do so. Amaya Harrell with another incredible kill.
All right, we'll give you one. Made a great stop, but number two, it's coming again. And unfortunately, if you're Blackburn, you couldn't stop her.
Rose-Hulman 4 points away from taking this set. Blackburn on the attack. Rose-Hulman keeping it alive with Harrell again, and this time it'll be out of play and a Blackburn point. Well, on the IndianaSRN sports page, you can find wall-to-wall sports coverage every day, high school, college, and pro. Check it out at IndianaSRN.org and click on the sports page tab. Key moment it feels like here for Blackburn.
I agree, and they're staying close. That's the key, and they got to continue to keep it within striking distance. And unfortunately, you give up a point right there. So when you think about it mentally, you can only make 3 more mistakes the rest of the way. So the margin of error just got smaller.
Felt like that might have been their best opportunity late in this set to get back in it. Let's see if Rose-Hulman now inches closer towards closing out this second set. Blackburn will send it across with no real attack. Now Blanton will have an attempt. And Blackburn will have to just send it over from the back line with Moglin. Now it'll be OC on the kill.
You just said it a little bit ago, no attack, but it was no attack twice. Yep. And when you do that twice against a good team, you're generally going to get hurt, and that's what happened on that possession.
Ebright preps for the serve. Overpass by Blackburn. Rose-Hulman was ready for it, and they set up Blanton's attack. Now it's Person trying to attack for Blackburn, and it's going to be another kill for Rose-Hulman. This one by Aurora Schmidt, her 4th tonight.
Yeah, again, you can't give the other team the ball back. You got to get an attack going, and Blackburn was unable to do it in that possession. They've got to find a way again going into the 3rd set to clean that part up.
Set point now for Rose-Hulman. And they will come away with the 3rd set on the block that time. 25-17. Rose-Hulman wins set number 2, and they lead this 2-0 here on RHIT.TV.
So I started working on Babcock Ranch 16 years ago. We designed a sustainable community that is also storm resilient, and also it has a ton of flood control associated with it. It has 75 megawatt solar facilities on site, which will cover the entire 18,000 acre community. In September of 2022, we had Hurricane Ian. We had 150 mile an hour sustained winds for about 10 hours and 21 inches of rain. Babcock really had little to no damage at all. We were the only place in a 2-county area that had any electric or any available drinking water that did not need to be boiled. And Rose really prepares you to go out, think outside the box, and problem solve. And I think for any major at Rose-Hulman, that's what you're getting. You have the ability to go out and create something new and innovate and change the way that we live as humans today.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you can be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We consider it a privilege to have you as one of our listeners and viewers. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Back here for the third set. It's a 2-0 lead for Rose-Hulman over Blackburn. I'm Zion Brown here with Troy Derengowski and Rose-Hulman. The second set was more of a fight from Blackburn, but Rose-Hulman just showed fight and was able to get it done.
Well, I think that comes from experience, and I also believe it comes from playing a better schedule. Again, and I'm nothing against Blackburn, but they have not played the same type of teams that Rose-Hulman has, and so that makes you more tested in a game like this. I'll be curious, and I'll go back to the mental side of things. How will Blackburn come out and play here in this third set? They cannot afford to get down early. I think if they play well, much better than they did again in the first set like they did in the second set, they'll give themselves a chance to win. That's the key. You're not going to win 3 sets in a row in one set. You got to take it 1 point at a time at this stage.
We'll see if Blackburn can do that. Well, Pat Cherry is your independent agent proudly representing Ohio Mutual Insurance. Call him today at 317-894-7000 for coverage tomorrow. Both teams make their substitutions, getting their liberos in the right spot in this match as we approach this third set.
You know, the other thing too, Zion, is you come all this way, you get the bus delay, you don't want to get swept. You want to at least get one out of this and have something that you can build on for your next match.
Blackburn sends it back over with Mitchell. On the other side, it's Carlson, dug out well by Blackburn. That ball is going to be out of play. A nice chase from Ebright, but she couldn't keep it in the air in the first point of this set. Goes for the Beavers.
Yeah, great defensive play by the Beavers to keep that ball alive and then be able to go back on the attack, as it really, again, started what they did defensively.
Rose-Hulman sets up the attack with Carlson. So that went past the back line for another Blackburn point.
Well, smart play in that back line, just not to go after it. That was good communication by Blackburn. You could hear them yelling, let it go.
Kendall Yates as that last line of defense, and she's got herself an ace.
Well, in a rare receiving error that time by Rose-Hulman. That was a tweener, and you got to make up your mind. You either play it, I'd rather have you play it and try to get something going offensively than to let that happen.
Rose-Hulman will get its first point on the kill by who else but Amaya Harrell.
Well, that'll stop a rally really quick, won't it? You go back to Harrell again and get you an easy point. I say easy on my side because she makes it look easy.
Are you saying you don't have that vertical, Troy?
No, not even close.
Fight Engineers will serve with Ellie Harshini. Ebright digs it out, and that one is blocked, but it goes out of play, so the point will go to Rose-Hulman, and they'll keep the serve with Harshini.
And I think that's kind of the game plan here. Let's get Harrell involved in it again. Let's get her as many hits as we can and really put the pressure back on Blackburn.
Person gets it across for Blackburn, and the overpass is completed successfully by Julia Ehrman.
Now we call that the open campfire when you see 6 players standing around watching the ball fall in the middle. And as a volleyball team in any level, you can't let that happen.
Tied up at 3 apiece in set 3. Persong gets it across. Rose-Hulman handles it well and sets up the Emma Blanton attack. And Blanton will come away with a kill.
Well, indecision by Blackburn here on the sideline again. You got to make up your mind. You're either going to go for it or you're not. I would rather have you go for it than take that chance, and unfortunately they didn't do it.
Harshini to serve. Yet again, and she'll have herself a service ace. 5 straight points for Rose-Hulman here in the 3rd set. Well, Aspen Creek Grill, why go anywhere else? If you're looking for fresh, amazing food and servers who truly care about your experience, you have got to try Aspen Creek Grill. Rose-Hulman looking to keep this streak going as they're able to keep that ball alive on the diving attempt by Harshini. Blackburn on the other end sends it across with Zoe Mitchell, deflected at the net. It'll be Person sending it back over for Blackburn. Now on the other side, Schmidt gets it across for Rose-Hulman. And they'll set it up, blocked at the net. That time by Schmidt and Harrell. 6 straight points for Rose-Hulman.
Yeah, really hard to get through a double block like that, especially when you have 2 tall, athletic players to get through. And you kind of feel now Rose-Hulman taking more control of this 3rd set.
That one barely tips across, but in the perfect spot by Zoe Mitchell to finally stop that Rose-Hulman run.
And Blackburn needed that. I tell you what, if they'd have got down 7-3, I know it's only a 4-point lead, but you kind of feel all that momentum going right back to Rose-Hulman. But right now, I think Blackburn needs a good run. They need about 5 or 6 in a row if they can find a way to get it done.
Blanton will not let that happen, as soon as a run is maybe starting to trying to set up for Blackburn, Emma Blanton with another incredible spike.
Feel bad for the line judge. She couldn't get out of the way fast enough. That's how hard that ball was hit.
Blanton's got her 13th kill tonight. Ebright delivers a serve as they set it up for Peyton Moglin, who will find space in that back corner for the point.
Not easy to do when you have Ebright back there, and Ebright just a little bit late, but a great strike once again, and Blackburn hanging around.
Great job by Meglin in that outside position. That is Blanton, blocked at the net. And now Schmidt thought that ball was going over. It hit the top of the net and stayed on the Rose-Hulman side for a Blackburn point.
Well, one thing about Blackburn, give him credit. You know, you go to the back that first set, you lose by 14, you get it down to 8 in the 2nd set. They have actually played a whole lot better than I'm sure a lot of people thought they would after that first set.
Meglin gets it over, Blanton on the dig as they set it up for Schmidt. The Blackburn recovers well. Another one of those overpasses in the middle that time by Fry, but Rose-Hulman keeps it alive. Now they'll set up a Blanton attack. Blanton trying to find space, but it's dug out well by Zoe Mitchell. Blanton again. Dug out again by Blackburn, and they'll try to send it across with Ward, and then it's dug out on this side by Ebright. Blanton with another attempt. They set it up as Blackburn still has kept this alive. At the net, it's going to be a point for Blackburn with Riley Black finding an inch of space to get that one down and tie this set at 7 points apiece.
Great volley again, both sides. Excellent defense, both sides. Ebright on the other side for Rose-Hulman laid out a couple of times to get to that ball.
Schmidt gets it down, and that will be a kill for Aurora Schmidt as Blackburn cannot fully control that, and it sailed into the bleachers.
Now, sometimes there's not much you can do. You run out of real estate, but you love the hustle by Blackburn hanging in there, and that's the name of the game. You got to win this set to keep it alive.
Blackburn is able to keep the serve alive. sent over by Fry. Blackburn not able to keep the attack from Kira Osi alive, however, and it's a 9-7 Rose-Hulman lead.
Well, Blackburn, again, you want to go on the attack. You gave up a free ball, and it cost you a point. You cannot do that again against very, very good teams like Rose-Hulman.
Schmidt to serve. And she almost had herself an ace, but Blackburn's able to get it back across. Blanton off the set. Keeps it going, and then Blanton, however, comes up with the block of Riley Black. Support high school and college athletics across Indiana. Become an IndianaSRN sponsor today. Put your business in front of thousands of loyal viewers each week. Contact Coach at IndianaSRN.org.
Sure, Coach is watching tonight.
It'll be an ace for Schmidt.
You know, I know he's watching because you heard of the rubber band across the net to the antennas in each side, because he used to use that as a tool. Well, I'm not sure he really ever did it, but he claims fame for it, so.
That was Schmidt's third ace of the night. Blackburn barely able to get that one back. The attack from OC is dug out on that back line by Yates. And then Schmidt digs that one out, and Ebright sends it back. And Ebright will come away with a point, as no one was fully ready for that on the Blackburn side. Fry tried to dig it out, but could not do so successfully. And Blackburn will call a timeout here. 12-7 is the Rose-Hulman lead in this third set. Looking for the sweep here on RHIT.TV.
We're doing things so quickly. A lot of times we know that we need help. So our professors all know us by name.
Basically, everybody knows everybody here.
That one-on-one personal connection you're getting with the faculty, you don't get that a lot of places.
We are not just saying, here, go do this hard project. We are right there with them. We work with them.
The faculty are there for you.
A good engineer, a good mathematician, a good scientist can identify problems.
But in order to be a great scientist or engineer, you've got to have curiosity and you've got to have creativity, and that's what's going to set you apart.
You can't teach curiosity. You just need to encourage your students to be curious. Curious in anything that they do. Curious so that it brings out the innovations, the new ideas.
Rose-Hulman looks to sweep this match against Blackburn. Right now they have a 5-point advantage in set number 3, about to that midway point here in the third set.
Good timeout for Blackburn. You don't want this one to get any further away. As we said, you're on the road. You got to find a way to keep it close.
It'll be a 4th service ace of the night for Aurora Schmidt.
Kind of handcuffed the receiving side. Again, I hate to reiterate it again. You got to put the ball in play. Give your offense a chance to go on the attack.
Schmidt almost found space for another ace. Instead, it's sent back over by Riley Black. And then the kill by Kennedy Fry. Usually a setter, but Fry was able to get up top and send that one across.
And that could have gone either way. Good play at the net. Nice response. Good quick reactions as well. So now if you're Blackburn, need a little bit of a run here.
Now Fry will serve with her Beaver squad trailing by 5 points in the third set. That one right at the net. And now Rose-Hulman will try to send it back over with Blanton. Blackburn just gets it back with Fry. Overpass by Ehrman. And they set up the attack with Ward. Now OC rejected at the net, and Blanton will try on the other side for Rose-Hulman, rejected as well. Blanton trying again, this time gets it past the defenders, but Blackburn keeps it alive. Ward sends it across, Rose-Hulman digs it out, and that is going to fall into play. What a beautiful hit by OC for the Rose-Hulman point.
Yeah, you know what? Great vision. Saw everybody for Blackburn playing up close to the net around the 10-foot line, and they were unable to recover. Just excellent vision on the floor.
Emma Blanton to serve for the Fighting Engineers. Blackburn will send it back across with Black. On the opposite side, it's spread across and dug out well on that back line for Blackburn. Carlson with a kind of sideways tap gets it down.
Well, you know, it kind of reminds you of one of those, I'm not sure if I want to hit it deep in the middle or go to this side. You kind of change your mind in the middle and it all worked out. You know what? I enjoy watching Ebright play simply because she will sell out all the time to try to get to a ball. But there's so many times you think a ball's going to get in and she's able to get to it. Just great defensive player.
Hannah Bergfeld subs in for Rose-Hulman as Blackburn sends it across with Meglin. OC gets it over the net just barely for Rose-Hulman. They'll set it up again for OC, and she finds space in play, and they have doubled up Blackburn now 16-8 in this third set. Well, for over 131 years, Willow Mission has been a pillar of the Indianapolis community, providing help, hope, and healing to people in need. Can you volunteer today? Call 317-686-6239. Blanton with the serve for Rose-Hulman. Black rejected at the net by OC. As we'll set it up for Bergfeld. And it'll be a point on the block by Riley Black.
This lead was built on opportunities by Rose-Hulman and taking advantage of Blackburn mistakes in this third set, because it was pretty close there for a while. But again, good teams going to make other teams pay for their mistakes.
Think back to the 3-0 Blackburn lead that they had to begin this set before Rose-Hulman rattled off 7 straight points. And that was really the turning point. Rose-Hulman on the attack as they set it up for Bergfeld on that opposite side. Blackburn keeps it alive, but Riley Black cannot put that ball in the air. It's the Rose-Hulman point.
Yeah, how many times you see that joust at the net? Stronger player generally will get the victory on that, and it went to Rose-Hulman.
17-9, Rose-Hulman lead in this third set as Blackburn calls yet another timeout. And Rose-Hulman, Troy, so close to closing this one out.
Yeah, in Blackburn, I think at this stage, probably feeling like, listen, we played our best volleyball that we can, considering the situation they were put in. Again, I'm not making any mistakes, but there are factors. They haven't played well on the road this year. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, they have won a match on the road this year. And I'm talking about on the road, not in a neutral site. So they haven't played well on the road. They had the bus get late because of traffic. They didn't get the same routine. And I think all that kind of played into a factor. And maybe in set 2, they played about as well as they possibly could on the road. And unfortunately, like you said, they got out to a 3-0 start. But since then, you've been outscored, what, 17-6?
Yes.
So it's really been domination by Rose-Hulman since then.
It sure has been. LifeWise programs support educators and communities by improving student outcomes. With LifeWise Academy, your community can bring biblical values back into the classroom. Call today at 614-367-5767. Out of the timeout, it'll still be Rose-Hulman serving as OC got it across. Here's Person, rejected at the net. So go to the opposite side with Rianne Ward. Rose-Hulman on the other end. Harrell has that dug out on the back line. Ward tries to get it over. She does. But Rose-Hulman keeps it alive. Bergfeld has it dug out by Fry, and that ball does not get back over the net, so it's a point for the Engineers.
You know, and if I'm Rose-Hulman at this stage, again, I want to put it away quickly. I want to focus now what they've got coming up this weekend. So I'm not mistaken, they go to Wisconsin. Yep. And they're going to play in a very tough tournament there.
The UW Whitewater Invitational is what's up next for Rose-Hulman. And that will be a difficult challenge for them. Bergfeld on the set, and it'll come back to Bergfeld. She has it deflected at the net. Bergfeld then deflects it on the other end. the back line now, gets it across for Blackburn. Now it's back over to Hannah Bergfeld, and she's able to get that one down for another Rose-Hulman point.
Not a great set. She had to kind of readjust on her way up, had enough spin on it to get it down for the point. So sometimes, again, it's better to be lucky than good.
OC on the serve for Rose-Hulman. Ward sends it across for Blackburn, and there'll be a net violation and a point for Blackburn.
Well, there wasn't much that time that Harrell could do. The bottom line is she had to make the attempt, and unfortunately it got into the net, but it hasn't happened that much to affect Rose-Hulman tonight at all.
Harrell trying to make up for it, but couldn't get it over the net. So Blackburn trying to instill some life into their side of the gym.
Well, I wasn't sure if she was looking for the high set or the low set, so maybe there's a little confusion on what the reading of the play was going to be.
This time it's an overpass by Ehrman, catching that Blackburn defense off guard.
Well, and if you're Blackburn, who did I see coming from my right? It would be Harrell. I'm thinking she's going to get it. Great play at the net.
Rose-Hulman 5 points away from a sweep and getting back in the win column. Dig by Ebright. They set up the attack for Bergfeld. That got tipped at the net, but went over to the Blackburn side.
That all started because the serve went short. Blackburn had no play on it, but to give it back to Rose-Hulman, they got a free possession and the point.
Another serve coming from Julia Ehrman. It's a short serve, but it gets across. And it's sent back over by Ward. They set it up for Harrell, and Harrell will come away with yet another kill. Well, at Morales Group Staffing, they're in business to create a better future for you, your family, and the community that we share. Whether you're looking for the right career or the perfect candidate, they're here to help. Call today at 317-472-7600. Harrell has 12 kills now tonight. Rose-Hulman 3 points away. That time it's sent over by Hannah Bergfeld, kept alive. And now it'll be Rianne Ward getting it over for Blackburn. As they set up Aurora Schmidt with the left hand. It's dug out on that back line. And then it's dug out on the other end by Blanton for Rose-Hulman. As they set it up for Bergfeld. And it stays alive. It'll be a point for Blackburn.
When you look back at the last couple of points that time for Rose-Hulman, you got to give them credit because they took advantage of mistakes by Blackburn. Blackburn could not get their offense set up, gave away too many free possessions, and that's why they find themselves down by 10.
Harrell does it yet again. She's now tied Emma Blanton for the lead of 13 kills tonight for Rose-Hulman.
I believe they're going for the juggler right here. You're 2 away. You want to put it away. And again, think about what's coming up this weekend.
Hannah Bergfeld to serve. It's sent right back over by Blackburn as they set it up for Blanton. That is tipped at the net, and the point goes to Rose-Hulman. So we've got match point. And again, it's Blanton.
Well, they smelled it. Smelled blood in the water, and they went after it, and you could tell they took advantage of mistakes and went on the attack, and give them credit. They're going to be very good by tournament time.
Blackburn's able to send it back across, but it's Blanton on that other side, and it is going to be another net violation. Point to Rose-Hulman. And the Fighting Engineers have swept Blackburn 3-0, winning the third set 25-12.
Yeah, dominating third set. They fell down, as you mentioned earlier, 3-0. It looked like maybe Blackburn was going to have enough gas in the third set after playing much better in the second set. But you make too many mistakes, and when you make mistakes against good teams, you'll eventually end up losing. And you got to play almost mistake-free at times on the road, and unfortunately they weren't able to do that tonight.
Rose-Hulman won the first set 25-11, second set 25-17, and the third set 25-12. And it's really, I'll group in 3: Emma Blanton, Amaya Harrell, and Kira O.C. as the attackers for Rose-Hulman. They were all excellent.
Yeah, all excellent from the very beginning. And when you needed a point or you needed a good defensive play, you saw it across the board for Rose-Hulman. I thought it was a great effort. What I find interesting when you look at the preseason polls, I think Rose-Hulman's about 5 or 6. They're going to give those teams ahead of them in that poll a lot of trouble this year, especially if they have that kind of play from that front row. Plus, I like the way they play defense. Rotation was excellent tonight. I think just overall a very, very big win. I know that Blackburn's struggling this year on the road, but you never apologize for a win. I don't care who it is. It was just a great all-around effort.
Troy, we talked about just mentality-wise how Rose-Hulman needed to respond from those 4 straight losses, and they did so.
Yeah, they did, and now it sets them up with confidence again to go into that tournament, which again is going to be a tough one this weekend, but they're going to be a better team. They may not, I don't know what they're going to do. They may win them all, they may lose them all, but they're going to play some very good teams this weekend, and they'll make them better. When that tournament rolls around later on in October into November, they're going to be a much better team.
So Rose-Hulman secures its 10th victory and is back in the win column. Like you said, they will be at the UW Whitewater Invitational this weekend, where they'll play Illinois College, Wisconsin River Falls, and then the host school, number 4 in the country, Wisconsin Whitewater, on Saturday for Rose-Hulman. Well, for my partner, Troy Darengowski, producer Nick Lewis, and camera operator Daniel Thacker, I'm Zion Brown. Rose-Hulman sweeps Blackburn 3 sets to none here on RHIT.TV.